So this morning I've woken up and the grief has got me by the balls. I'm literally like heavy chest, really sad, sat here, tried to figure out how to set up my microphone and everything, which I could have done yesterday. Obviously, I could have done that. Didn't do it.
Obviously, you could have done.
Didn't do that. Went down to the car. Couldn't figure out how to unlock the car. That was a whole thing. Came here, set it up. Now it doesn't work. And my brain keeps saying, just tell them you're going to cancel it. Just cancel it today. And I was like, do you know what? If I can't show up authentically in my pajamas and likely cry with you and Steph, then I'm not doing my. Yeah, this is how it's got to be. This is the most ADHD AF morning. What are we doing here if not talking about the realities of living with this condition, right?
And that grief train comes from nowhere.
Honestly. And the thing is as well, it's because we're in the midst of moving. So my medication is like on, off, trying to sort that out. And I suddenly realised last night how much of an impact that has. So I was sat down last night, totally fine. And then I was like, I'm really uncomfortable and I'm really itchy and agitated and not quite right. And it's like meds, didn't take my meds yesterday because I'm having to ration them and it all impacts.
But also, I mean, it's huge life transitions. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's risky. It's a big change. It's a lot. It's a lot. I
tell you what else is a lot is your hair. It looks fucking fabulous. I'm sat here with the most glamorous person ever and I just look like Sonia from EastEnders. I just need a trumpet right now. That's it.
You know, today's one of those mornings I was like, I gotta just show up today.
Oh, Steph's here. Hang on. Let Steph come in. Good morning. We were just talking about how ridiculous it is that I'm sat here in my pajamas in absolute state talking to the two most glamorous people that I know, looking lovely. Here we go. We've already been talking about the chaos of the morning, but I want to just say one thing that has been on my mind so much is that Lou in Newland on her self-love revolution has been such a supporter of this space from such early days. You were my first interviewee when I was solo.
Yes, you were flying solo.
Yeah, terrifying experience. And you were so kind and backed me and gave me the time when I didn't know what I was doing at all. And then these last few weeks, you very kindly reached out and said that we can come and collaborate with you on some of the amazing things that you are doing. And I just have to say, it's coming up for 3 years that I've been working in this space. I've met a lot of people, a lot of amazing people. I've also met some people that are absolutely full of shit. And you are absolutely for integrity to the core. You practice what you preach. You are about self-love. You're about empowering people and just being like, we are all in this together and together we rise. We share our opportunities and share our spaces because we're on a similar page and we're all facing the same sort of way. And I just have to say how refreshing and amazing that is. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Though blatantly obvious, the late discovery, diagnosis and treatment at 38 for severe combined type ADHD in 2022 not only improved, but genuinely saved my life, which I have since dedicated to fighting for change amidst the global ADHD crisis. As the acronym suggests, I swear like a sailor, and each episode will contain sensitive subject matter, so please always read the description before diving in, where you will also find a link to resources for support. These crucial conversations with experts by lived experience are shared to inform, validate, shame eradicate, and unite the ADHD community, with a fair few laughs along the way. I've been labelled too much all my life, but finally I celebrate my too muchness and use my justice sensitivity to let the world know that ADHD presents differently in each individual. Self-diagnosis is valid and that ADHD is not a trend. ADHD is real. And I want all ADHDers of all genders to know you are not alone. The leopard is the symbol of Aberdeen, Scotland, where this podcast began. It also symbolises bravery, the reclaiming of power, and I'm a total hun. So leopard print has become the uniform of the ADHD AF community, uniting to support each other and push for change, which together we can make happen. We are the leopard print army. Hear us roar. Hi, I'm Laura and I am ADHD AF.
So this is a lot of an episode. What we're going to start with is Steph and I talking a little bit about the friggin' wild safari we have been on for the last however long with the Emporium. And then we have an absolutely amazing, ridiculous, very unexpectedly surprising conversation with Lou in Newland about some collaborative stuff, which is truly eye-opening, very empowering, and yeah, actually magical. So for anybody that doesn't know, Steph is one of my childhood friends. We've been friends since we were 11, and she is the creator of All the Discos. We have been collaborating, well, since dance routines in school playgrounds, to be honest. But we have been collaborating on this Emporium concept before ADHD-AF was even a thing.
Yeah.
We started the Emporium as we are both festival traders, me with Hathor. I always say it with a little bit of a grimace because it's brought me so much shame over the years, this amazing thing that I made that I didn't know why I couldn't keep up with. At least now we know why I struggled so much with posting online, sending products out to people and keeping up with social media is because of my unidentified and unmanaged ADHD. But yeah, Hathor and All the Discos have been collaborating for time. And we started doing the Emporium. We had one absolutely massive one at a Secret Garden party several years ago. And that was when I introduced the leopard print Sundays elements. And then obviously with ADHD-AF and the idea being brought to ADHD-AF from Rebecca Cowley of Working Clasp to start doing some merch because people were asking for merch. People wanted t-shirts, they wanted jumpers, they wanted mugs. And it didn't sit right with me to just go to some company that mass produces them. As an independent maker, I wanted to support small businesses. Rebecca came with the jewelry. You came and started making jewelry and accessories. And it grew and grew and grew into an idea in which we wanted to create a marketplace for neurodivergent makers and small businesses, both online and in person. The big one, of course, was our first Emporium tent at Flaxstock Festival last year, which was marrying both sides of it. So I was doing podcasty stuff, much like the live events of the 3 tours, with different speakers like Abigail Ajay educating us about intersectionality and neurodivergence, with Kim Pierpoint talking about intimacy and stand-up, and loads of karaoke thrown in, and all sorts of different elements of everything, while Steph was run ragged selling handmade festival accessories.
And at one point I did do karaoke whilst selling. I remember I did have to pause one song to say, could you please tap your card here? So
we did what we do best, which is creating things, creating spaces, being at festivals and raising ADHD awareness all under one roof, with 10% of our annual profits donated to the now finally established ADHD-AF Plus charity. So it all marries together brilliantly, but all of these ideas of all things ADHD-AF spanning out in different directions, it takes work to start anything. And sort of multiple things have been started all at once. So it has been very challenging. Steph being the brains and the business, me being the ridiculousness and throwing more and more ridiculous ideas out, where actually a lot of our ideas really didn't work. For all the will in the world, there's no way we could have even kept up with what we were envisaging. You know, you are a mum of 2, you have All the Discos, you have another job as well. I'm doing all things ADHD-AF, and we are both neurodivergent. To have created a kind of community within the sellers community to all of this stuff, we couldn't have actually done it even if it had worked the way we wanted to.
It's like a learning curve. So every step of the way, it's kind of like finding what we can do and where that fits in. And, you know, we've had website issues and
umpteen website issues. You had website issues for months and months and months, and you just persevered and persevered. And I'm like, either fuck it off or pay someone. Let's just move on. And you're like, we will get there. Resilience to the core. But the other thing that we came up against, all this bloody EU bullshit,
which we're still not sure on.
We don't know what's happening, where we can sell, what we can sell, selling abroad, all the rest of it. So we've had to keep ironing out creases, turning corners and going, okay, what can
just
we
strip
do?
it as far back as we can and then build it from there, sort of thing, which is probably is a sensible way to do things as well. It's not as much as I think sometimes, with our too muchness and things, we want to just be big and bold and out there and everything, but actually I think that we've learned is just start it small and it will grow. So after months of trying to get our first concept off the ground and it just not working, it would work, but A, it would cost a lot of money, and B, it would not be as simplified as we want it to be. We don't want a complicated, you having to fill out, if you want to be part of the Emporium with us, loads of forms.
Onboarding form system in a neurodivergent community where we're dying for the forms as it is that we can't do. Doesn't work.
Yeah, it just wasn't very neurodivergent friendly, and that became quite obvious. So then it went back to the drawing board. So now what we have is a lot more streamlined and is working. If you have a small business and you would like to be part of ADHD Emporium, there's several ways to sort of come about that. You can message us anyway, but we have sale or return, and we take care of all of the sending things out from our end, or we have wholesale as well. So we are looking for things that meet a need within the neurodivergent community. If you're neurodivergent yourself,
can I actually highlight one of the things? So even though I know this myself, having worked really closely with community members for years now, one of the very obvious things that passed me by is that not everybody is open or comfortable being open about their neurodivergence. So in my head, I'm like, right, we're going to take this designer and we're going to say, this is what I've got. This is how it impacts me. These are my struggles. These are my hacks, blah, blah, blah. And actually completely forgetting that not every neurodivergent maker actually wants to share that information publicly. Completely missing the mark there, as I often do. The penny drops late. So most of our creatives are neurodivergent, but not all of them are open about their neurodivergence. And that is totally fair enough. So just because we're not necessarily saying this person has ADHD or ADHD, OCD, whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not. But at the same time, not all of our makers are, but they are a small business and they're creating a product that we feel meets a need from our perspective. But also, they are very kindly getting on board with us, because 10% of our profits at the end of the year go to supporting the charity. So I think we could probably be all day here talking about it, but we've also got an amazing conversation with Lou to add in. So I think I just really want to say, as anybody who has listened to me go on and on about the many failings of the however many 10, 15 years of Hathor, however long it's been, 15 years, something like that, is that, I find it incredibly hard. The thing is, I know full well how hard times are. The cuts to PIP, everything that's going on, the amount of people that are struggling on never-ending waiting lists, on desperate need of help, many of whom cannot work because of the symptoms that they are up against, that they cannot get support for, or the impact that has had on their mental health and well-being, that they are literally unable to work. I know how much people are struggling. And that makes it even harder for me to try and sell to a community of which I know a lot of people are struggling financially. So we're not here saying, buy this, buy that, have this shiny thing, have this whatever. What we're here saying is that when you need to buy somebody a present, when you need to buy a birthday card, or there's a self-care product that you think would be perfect for them, we've got stuff like this amazing dry shampoo that smells amazing, but it's actually good for sensitive skin, and it's economically, what's the word I'm looking for? Environmentally sound, like, oh my God, I know a person who would love this. When it's their birthday, I'm going to buy it for them. When you need to buy gifts for yourself or somebody else, come to us, because in shopping with us, not only are you supporting either the creations of neurodivergent makers, even if they're one of our makers that isn't neurodivergent, we, Steph and I, are a neurodivergent business. So not only are you shopping neurodivergent, but in turn, 10% of any profit directly go to ADHD AF plus charity. So although we are separate entities, ADHDF Emporium and ADHDF podcast promote and fundraise for the charity, because the charity is out there in local areas, just starting with these support groups, but in turn, it will grow and grow and grow. So that's all that we are saying. We know that times are tough. They're tough for us as well. And they're tough for our makers. So really, everybody is struggling. So when you need to buy a gift or a card, or you want to treat yourself or someone else to a piece of jewelry, or you're going to a festival and you want to buy a big sparkly cape, again, you know that that's going to be handmade by somebody who is neurodivergent out of recycled party decorations, which is good for the environment. And then 10% at the end of it all is going to be directly supporting neurodivergent people in need of peer support, because Lord knows, with the press, with the pit bullshit, with the waiting lists, we need peer support. People need each other. That's literally all we've got out there. So
it's really tough out there for small businesses anyway at the moment. And one of the main reasons a lot of people start up small businesses to support their families and be at home. And a lot of those parents are parents to neurodivergent children as well. And they're having to be at home in order to meet those needs as well. But they also have bills to pay too. And then in turn, that creates products that meet a need within the community as well.
Yeah, if and when you need to buy something, you know where we are. And you could really help us by giving us a follow at ADHDAF Emporium. Follow us, come along to any events that we're at. We would love to see you. And just know that, yeah, it's taken us a long old while to get here. It doesn't look exactly how we wanted it to look, but it's not for lack of trying. And we just keep on getting back up and doing our best because we believe in what we're doing. Lou in Newland on her self-love revolution, we're on a similar page and we're all facing the same sort of way. And I just have to say how refreshing and amazing that is. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I've had bad experiences. One minute I'm having lunch with someone and the next they're launching something I talked about. And it's like, what's happening here? I don't understand. And, you know, we're just better together. It's lonely 100%. By yourself, especially in the creator space. Was talking to a friend yesterday because I've never been so broke. It's hard in the moment, sort of like trying to sell tickets to events. I'm like, wow, have I just bitten off more than I can chew? But I'm like, I just got to stay true to what I believe in. And like, I promised myself I'd give 2025 and Lou in Luland one last shot trying to make a living out of what I'm doing. It doesn't feel that hard to want to empower women. It feels like it's needed more than ever. I know what I do has a huge impact.
Yes.
You know, but also the world's really hard. You know, it's really tough. People are struggling. You know, everyone's scared. Tariff this and tariff that. You know, everything that's happening around the world has a ricochet on us emotionally, vibrationally, universally, and collectively. There's just a lot of anxiety around right now. So it's hard to function, honestly.
It really, really is.
Which for me means, right, we got to gather together and fight this shit, you know, bring the joy
exactly.
hard.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Because I think in such difficult times, you know, this individualism and individualistic mindset kicks in as kind of a form of self-protection, right? So we're like, oh gosh, you know, you sort of hold in like that when actually, well, we only have to look at the bog roll situation in the pandemic to know that that's true.
Yeah.
But like, actually, those are the very times where we have to be outward and open and collective, because that's really, at the end of the day, each other is all we've got. Not wanting to sound like Jerry Springer, but it's true. It's true. Everything else is uncertain, isn't it?
Oh God, absolutely.
So we're very happy to be collaborating with you. We're very lucky to have you. Everything that you're doing is absolutely, absolutely amazing. Before Steph came on, we were talking about how it's been a really difficult morning for me. And it's so annoying because everything's geared up to today. The sun is shining. Getting to speak to you two. It's been planned for ages. I've got a lovely day ahead. I'm going to go out later with my friends. There is no reason why today is hard, but it really is. And it's so frustrating. And I saw the other day when it was Mother's Day, I was on my phone for a little bit and then I hid for the rest of the day. I was like, I don't want to see it, that it was a really difficult day for you. So I'm really sorry.
Oh, it was your first one. You've got the first of all the anniversaries. That's the worst.
Exactly.
It's the worst year. just doing the first of everything, the birthdays, the anniversaries, the Mother's Day, the Christmas, the Easter,
Yeah.
la la la. And I would love to be able to sit here and tell you it's going to get better. But if I'm honest, I wish someone had told me it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
I have spent the last 3 months trying to get sponsors for the tour. I'm sorry, we're talking about grief. And I've just had a message pop up saying I've got a fucking sponsor. Oh my God.
That is the best news.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. This is the best news. No, that's amazing.
See, this is what happens. This is what happens when you stick to. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm actually speaking.
No, take a minute.
No.
Take a minute. Do you want to run outside? Do you want to tell somebody we can come back?
No, I'm telling you. Oh my God. Going back to grief, I have been tried the last 2 weeks. I've done the worst thing ever, and I'd kind of given up hope. I've just had to I've been practicing, I've been grieving, giving up my dream of taking this fucking bus out and thinking, well, I'll go and do the tour, but I'm not going to be able to take the bus because I can't afford it. And, you know, maybe I'm just crazy thinking that people want this, and I've been having such bad imposter syndrome. And then I'm like, no, look at the messages you get from people when they come. And my motto has always been one woman at a time, but then I can't operate like that. It doesn't pay the bills. Look at me, I'm squatting in my boyfriend's loft, homeless, trying to make things work. And I've been grieving my dream, if you like, and then I speak to you, and then that's what's happened. Oh my God, we're doing it. It's perfect timing. Sorry. Oh my God, girl. I'm so happy.
Right, stop. Tell me what this means. What does this actually mean now? It means you can do it in the bus. Explain to us what's happening. This has just happened now. It's absolutely
that's such a coincidence. So the whole idea, and you will resonate with this entirely. The whole idea of buying the bus was when I started to really share my journey online about getting older, about the menopause, leaving my husband, all of those things. I started to really share it. It wasn't just pretty pictures of my salad and my coffees anymore, but like really like turning up, crying my eyes out, or, you know, I feel amazing. That's when women really started coming to the door, and I was still living in America, and we were in lockdown. And then as we came out of lockdown, I was like, what am I going to do next? My son was graduating from high school, and I was like, what's next for me? And what I really wanted to do was go and meet all these women, because when you share, you will know this, both of you, when you share your shit online, people share back, and so many women would open up to me. And there was the running theme from women was just, I feel lonely, I feel invisible, I feel like I'm on my own, I feel lost. And I was like, I'm fun online, but I'm much more fun in real life. You know, she says, blowing her own trumpet.
But Sonia's here, so
and I just feel like that's what I want to do. I want to go meet people, and I want to help them connect, because that's what I do. I connect people, because that's where I find my joy and my power, and that's what I want to do. And so then, as I was thinking this, I saw this old bus by the side of the road. I bought this fucking bus. I crowdfunded this bus, Susie, named after Mum, and drove around bloody America using the bus as this sort of connector of people. And the whole point of doing the bus up all leopard print was, you know, we find our people with the leopard print.
Exactly.
We find our, you know, it will attract the people who it needs to attract. They're going to find me. And so that was the idea of the bus. And then I did this damn tour, and the bus was so powerful. And not just the events that I threw to connect people. I threw events everywhere to try and connect people and build a little communities everywhere I went. It was so powerful, not just the events, but also the women in need who came knocking at the door of the bus. So when I finished in New York, I was like, I'm taking the bus with me. So brought the bus back to the UK, cost me half my divorce settlement, and that is really half the reason I'm in the shit that my financial shit I'm in is bringing the bus back, putting her in storage, you know, all of
Yes.
those things. And then it took me nearly a year to get her registered legally, because the DVLA were like, wanted paperwork I couldn't get hold of because she's so old.
Yes. Yeah.
Then finally, at the end of last summer, she was road legal. And yeah. And oh my God. And so then this year, and then in the last sort of like 2 years, I've been trying to get her road legal, trying to figure out, it's taken ages to settle back into being in the UK. So circling back to grief, I think mum had died while I was in the States.
Right.
And when I came home, and I felt like I'd grieved her, and then when I came home, I realised she actually really was dead, because I think I'd managed to convince myself somehow that she was somehow still alive. And I think because I keep her memory very alive, with the buses named after her, you know, when I was on the bus, I talked to her all the time. When she died in the middle of me buying the bus, and everyone, I wanted to call her Shirley Valentine. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Shirley Valentine.
I was actually talking about Shirley Valentine the other day. I was telling Vic about it. How funny.
A middle-aged woman who ran off and married a Greek, ran off with a Greek waiter. Well, I just knew none of the Americans would know who Shirley Valentine was, and I spent the whole tour having to explain her. So, and everyone went, "Oh, you've got to call her Sue after your mum." And I was like, "It's going to make me sad. Like, I don't want to do that." But everyone was like, "You've got to do it, you've got to do it." So I was like, fine. Actually, it ended up being the best thing ever, because I got to talk about her, because people are like, "What's her name?" And I'm like, Susie, after my mum. So I get to talk about mum all the time. And she was such a badass and such an inspiration. And then when I was really low in the bus, or broken down, or really scared, you know, for a lot of the trip, she was overheating, and I'm scared to death I was going to break down in the middle of the Nevada desert. And I'd be like, "Come on, Susie, come on, Susie, Susie, Susie." So I had so many amazing conversations with mum in the bus. And then when I got home, it was almost like she was double dead. I said to my dad one day, "It's like mum's double dead." And my dad looked absolutely stricken. And I'm like, "I'm so sorry, but like, now I'm home, I've got to grieve her all over again." And then I think I underestimated the grief for my life, giving up leaving my marriage, leaving my son behind, leaving an amazing, beautiful, fancy life with fancy friends with fancy houses and all this fancy lifestyle that I had, and letting all that go. And it's not that letting all that go has been a real process. And I started.
Were the two linked? As in the grief of your mother led you to that in some way, or
I think
just that they happened at a similar time, and so then you had all of this grief at once?
I think it was just all of it at once, and kind of understanding what grief is and that process. And going back to what I was saying about, I'd love to tell you it's going to get better. It does get better in a way, but you shape shift around the grief. The grief never goes, right? And I think no one told me that, and I kept expecting to feel better, and you do have days where you're absolutely fine, and then there's days like this morning where it kicks the shit out of you for what appears to be no reason. And then because the sun's shining and you've got a nice day planned, you're like, "Am I fucking mad? I should be able to pull myself together." It makes you feel worse somehow. But
I feel like I'm being squeezed around the throat. I just woke up like, it's awful.
Yeah. And I think because the last 2 years have been so hard, I've wanted my mum more than ever, because she was really wise and, always had the right kind answer, about how to deal with things, and never. She was always very honest. It's not like she pulled any punches, but she was just a very good woman. She was a good human being. She worked with, prisoners, very serious category A prisoners, in had a huge capacity for forgiveness, and taught me so many things, and was a very good Christian, like a really good Christian, but real like a good Christian, not an idiot Christian, but a Christian that lived her faith,
Yes.
And taught me so. I mean, I'm such a mix of my mum and my dad. Someone said the other day, because my dad was a vicar, in case you don't know, but someone said the other day, "You've so turned into your dad, like preaching. You preach self-love." And someone went, "You're the minister of masturbation." I was like, I might change my Instagram name. I might just. Anyway, this last 2 years, with the grief and with all the huge changes and the transitions, I got my ADHD, coming to terms with that and the impact that has had on my life. I think I've been grieving in amongst all of the griefs, the multiple griefs I've been going through, grieving, not realizing that who I am, or this part of me. Meanwhile, kind of my life falling into place, like everybody talks about, it all suddenly making sense. You were just a huge switch for me, coming to bloody ADHD bingo.
That's the magical bingo, that bingo, I tell you.
Bingo will get you. And accepting that, but while still having to fight all the men in my life who still just think it's hilarious and a funny excuse for things. But I'm like, no, all right, whatever. I don't care what you think. I'm but almost grieving that, but also still understanding my impulsive tendencies a bit more and wishing that maybe, not wishing because you can't, I don't do that, but like how different life could have been maybe. Could it have been different? I don't know.
It's a sliding doors effect, isn't it? It could have been, it might not have been. Exactly.
Got myself in a financial pickle again for the millionth time because I have absolutely no impulse control whatsoever, and I also love that about me.
Well, it's a blessing and a curse, right? It opens a lot of doors, but it also starts a lot of fires.
And but here I am sitting in this loft, just holding tight to the fact that I believe in what I'm doing and I want to empower women and I want to do this fucking tour with the bus. And so the last 2 weeks I've been like, okay, maybe, and I've been trying to find a sponsor, a brand. How hard can it be to find a brand that wants to...
Oh, hard. I don't even understand how any of that works.
Tap into my, come with me. And I know it's difficult for a brand. They don't have a lot of money. I'm like, I don't want to just make Instagram ads for you. I want a brand that wants to come with me on this journey, build community with me. The thing I want to do is connect women to each other. So throw these events everywhere I go, bring women together so they can meet each other. So I'm like, maybe I've just been really ambitious. Maybe it's a stupid idea. But I know when women come that it has an impact on them. I have women leaving my events and my talks going, God, I want to go and kick the doors off, or, I'm off to change
the Shania Twain effect.
I had a message the other day going, what I did this morning? I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I told myself something that I value in myself. And before I came and heard you talk, I couldn't do that.
No.
And I don't know how to tell. I don't know. For me, a brand should want to kill to make their customers feel like that, right?
Well,
so I'm like, but I need. But no one wants to invest in middle-aged women. Nobody wants to actually spend money on that age range. Brands don't have these marketing budgets like they do. And it's a wild idea to come on this journey. 100%. I'm like, look, I'm throwing all these events. I'm appearing at events. You're now coming with me also. Anyway, so I've been trying and banging on doors and trying to sell my shit. And while I'm talking to you, a little message just came up going, they're in.
That's incredible. Yeah.
So I can get Susie out of the garage, get her fixed, get her on the road, and we can do this full on. Because I was like, I've been mourning the bus. And I was like, I can still do the tour. I can drive. I've got a little bus called Run Around Sue. I've got a little van called Run Around Sue.
Yeah.
Or Lazy Susan. Or sometimes I call her Crepe Suzette.
Well, it's funny because my mum's middle name was Suzette. Isn't that weird?
That's crazy. She's come to say hello. That's Mum coming to say hello because we're talking about her. All right, now she's Crepe Suzette. And I was like, yes, but it's not going to be half as fun. Like, I want the bus, and ironically, I've got loads of festivals want me to go and run self-love development, self-love areas in the festival. And I'm like, I mean, I can do it with a gazebo, but I want the bus because the bus is so inspiring. It's the bus is
100%. It's the story. It's the heart of it. It's cool. Honestly, Lou, so happy for you. So deserved. And just, that magic, it's like all of the love that you put in that's pouring back out and you're getting to do it.
How hard it is.
Oh my God.
So
Don't we just? It's so fucking hard.
And I gave up hope. I'm the queen of fucking I mean, I am as resilient as fucking fuck, but even I was like, maybe just nobody wants it. Like, maybe that's just, maybe the universe is just, and I'll never
Do you remember the other day, we were talking the other day, and I said to you, I was just like, whatever it was, the portal, I was like, there's a new life on the other side of this. I promise you, it's about to come. It's about to come. And it has.
While we were talking, because you're coming with me, and that's the whole point of this conversation. So it's all beautifully segued.
Isn't it? And
do you know what? It's part of that conversation as well. It was like it happened at the perfect moment if that conversation came to happen.
If there's ever a sign that you're on the right path, do you know, there's just so much that I resonate in what you said. And I think I will have to call you the Minister of Masturbation forevermore. But
Forevermore.
I think it's really interesting because I became aware the other day, because I'm always a couple of steps behind, is that
hang on. I would actually say you're a couple of steps ahead of most people, but carry on.
So I realised with the charity, the support groups that I'm rolling out, I realised the influence that my parents' work has had on my work. And I've spoken before about Mum, how she helped, well, predominantly kids with ADHD, let's be honest. But what I hadn't really factored in was that my dad has been in AA all of my life, right? So we know that alcohol issues can be a commonly co-occurring part of having ADHD, and he is the most ADHD man alive. But he spent all of his life in, well, they call it the fellowship, don't they? Right. So my dad has been sponsor for like a basquillion people over these years, going to these meetings, right? And I suddenly just sat there, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly, I mean, obviously it's not AA, but the idea of community and bringing people together. I'd factored in that I'd lived on little islands, I'd factored in my mum's part, and then I was like, hang on a minute, what are these if not meetings? Like, that's what we're doing.
It is.
Mental.
Because you need to be with your people. And
You
that
really do.
and that is where the power is, when you're gathered together with common purpose, whether it's AA, it could be your sports group, your gym class, your Zumba class, your girls' weekend, even the staff Christmas party. I don't know, when you're in that moment together, there's a magic in that experience, that feeling, especially after COVID. I mean, COVID was all of the things, right? But I think that being separated from people and real life, there was a good bit of it, but also I think, for me, that was like, oh my God, and you need people who get you in that silent level.
Because I think so much of our life is spent online, and there are a lot of people who are more introverted and who feel more comfortable behind a screen to connect with people. But then there are people that really need people. And I know I'm definitely one of those people. Like, I could send an email or in a WhatsApp group. I mean, I hate WhatsApp groups that, I can't feel the meaning, or my awful RSD2 rejection sensitive rabbit hole of spiraling as to a million things that one sentence could mean. But I could sit in a room next to somebody and I can feel it. I can look in somebody's eyes and be like, I know that we're connected on this level.
It's so funny because I only recently understood that, I used to think I was so perceptive. I was like, and nobody understands how fucking perceptive I am and how I can read a room. And I've just actually realised that's part of ADHD. Like, oh, I'm not that special after all. I always thought I'm going to make a great detective because I'm all over everything. I pick up so many vibes.
I tell you what, who is Queen Detective is Stephanie. She has detective skills like nobody on earth.
Oh my God, give me a topic, I will deep dive it for hours. Just like anything.
She cracks every case. There's every eventuality. Stephanie's got it covered.
Yeah, Laura mentioned something to me and I'll be like, I'm on it. And then you'll put the little detective emoji, and then half an hour later I will come back with receipts.
I am on it. I've discovered this. Have you got an actual magnifying glass?
You need one. I've got a Mac.
I channel my inner Angela Lansbury, because I am Angela Lansbury's biggest fan. Like, I'm looking at 2 pictures of her at the moment, either side of me. So I just channel my inner Jessica Fletcher.
And
to be honest, the theme tune for Murder, She Wrote is one of the most joyous pieces of music ever, really, to be honest.
I mean, seriously. It's funny. Can we just...
When your 9-year-old child sings it, I know my job is done.
Is that your song at karaoke, Steph? The theme tune?
It's one of them. He also knows the theme tune to the Golden Girls, which I think again is just
that
Thank you
boy.
for being a friend. Oh my God. I just realised I look a little bit like Blanche with my flicks like this.
Oh, I love
feel
it.
It is quite Golden Girl. Also,
that's what my car called Blanche. I called my car Blanche.
Can we discuss WhatsApp group? They are not designed for people with ADHD.
No.
They literally, so I can't handle it. I'm like, everything's on mute. I'm sure
I leave every single one. I get added to them for things and then I'll just leave because I know I can't handle it. We've got
I hate leaving because it tells everybody you've left.
Yeah.
I always feel really bad leaving. I'm like, what's the etiquette on the group? And it's interesting talking about that for the last year. I've got a finance coach, bless her. She's like, let me help you with your money. We haven't got beyond my relationship with finance and self-worth. That we haven't even got on to actually any kind of form of budgeting because I'm like completely entrenched. We're still stuck on my relationship with money and my spending. Anyway, I was saying to her, look, I just need a part-time job to supplement everything else I'm doing. And she's like, well, please, would you just set up your online community, and do your subscription? People would love that. It's an extension of the community.
Yes.
It could be, it could be.
And where your core followers can connect to each other as well.
A bit deeper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, she has been battering me for the last year trying to get me to do it, and I've been so resistant to doing it. And so now it was the last 3 weeks she's been like, what is your resistance to doing it? And I'm like, I don't know. And I think it's the same as the WhatsApp group. I think it's because
it's hell.
I don't know if I want to belong to an online community. Like, I always work on it. Would I like it? Then everyone else will like it. But for me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't feel.
Do you know what I would say is that I would encourage you to do it because it is such a special thing, and the connections that have been made through my Patreon community and the Discord is really life-changing. Like, there is actually a community there. However, I do not like sitting at the top of that community. I don't feel like a leader. I don't feel like I have of course I have interesting stuff to say. That's why I've got a podcast. That's why we're all here. But I mean, on the daily, like we've got a Glimmers channel. Today I shared that me and Big went to IKEA and I had meatballs. Like, it's not, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But I know. But the point is that it does carry a lot of RSD because there are online interactions. And I'll tell you what, this is a brilliant, terrible, most ADHD thing within the community. So it's been up for, I guess it's 2.5 years, something like that. And I sometimes find it really, really difficult if I've written a blog and I put a blog out and I only get like 2 or 3 likes or comments. I'm like, oh, nobody read it, or that was a bit of a waste of time, or, that RSD, it was shit. What I write is rubbish. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I only found out like literally a few weeks ago that that those blogs go direct to inbox. So people are actually reading them. They're just not going on the app to interact with them. Like, what the fuck? It took me that long. So that's like 2.5 years of thinking nobody wants to read anything, but I should just write it anyway. And I don't know. It's like, it's hard. On the daily, it's hard because the thing that I think is most difficult, and again, I want to preface this because if this does go in the episode, I don't want to give anybody RSD, is when people leave, it notifies you. And it's fucking brutal. And I've written multiple emails to Patreon to say, I'm going to have to leave this platform because I can't wake up in the morning and the first thing that I see is somebody's left. And they might have left 9 times out of 10 is because they can't afford it anymore. Fair enough. Yeah. Or that, they've reached their budget limit and they want to follow another creator. Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. But why do I need to know that? Because why do I need to know?
Counterproductive.
Well, I've built the online I committed this week and I've launched it and I've got 4 or 5 people in there so I can just have a tinker around. So I've done it. So
That's great. Well done.
Just having a practice because it was really hard to sort of like see what it's going to look like. But when you're on your own in there, I'm like, I need someone in there chit chatting so I can at least see how it all works.
Yeah.
I've done it. And I think it'll be fun on the road. Oh my God. We're going.
It will be so fun on the road, Lou. It'll be so fun on the road.
So fun on the road.
All of the behind the scenes stuff, you can be like, I'm here, I'm there. And honestly, it is brilliant. I love it so much. But it is tough. And that's why it's so good that we have each other in this space, because we can actually understand what that feels like. It is a lot, but it's so worthwhile. So well done for doing it.
Thanks.
So your shows.
Oh my God, we're literally going to be on the bus. We are going to be on the bus. We're going
on.
I can't even begin to tell you the things I've got going on. What I've done is I built a tour around basically other people's events, but also my own. So the idea is for my own things, which is so far there's Dartington, Bristol and Norwich. These are my three sort of Lewland weekenders. Think of me as a travelling circus. I roll into town. And on the Friday night I do my one woman show. It's an extension of my TED talk. I take people on my journey in the hopes of inspiring their journey to liberation, and I also get them to I do my top 10 tips for self-love, and I get everybody to write their own permission slips. I do a bit of a workshop and get everybody just to kind of really think about what they give themselves permission to do if they could do something without shame or judgment. So it's pretty empowering, even if I say so myself. I call it part comedy, part tragedy, mostly empowering. And I know it's a bit different, so it's quite hard trying to sell tickets to something new. It's not like a full-on comedy show, although I have to say it is quite funny. It's not full-on comedy. It's kind of an empowering comic, I don't know, workshoppy. I don't know. It's like so many things.
Honestly, you try selling bingo seminars. That's hard to.
It's tricky when you're doing something new, And then on the Saturday night, I'm doing a clothes swap, and then on the Sunday, I do a hike squad. I'm selling separate tickets. So if you buy the show and you buy this clothes swap, you get the hike for free, because different things appeal to different people. My dream is, my vision is, you come to the show and love that so much and feel empowered, you'll come to the clothes swap, and then you'll want to come hiking. So, but I figured if people could afford it, all of it, they could do one or the other. And I don't know. It might be a bit ambitious trying to do 3 events. It's like I've got so many events with tickets for sale at this point. I mean, for a woman who never had a birthday party because she was scared that somebody wouldn't come, I am literally like, what the fucking hell was I thinking?
Honestly, I completely relate, because doing the live shows is the greatest joy of my life. And so every time I would forget how hard it is when the tickets go on sale. And then this last tour, Alien Nation, I was like, it'll be fine. I'm well up for it. The tour's great. Minute I pressed upload on those tickets, I didn't breathe until the tour was over. It's horrendous.
I wake up in the night.
Because that's the thing, right? Times are hard. Times are hard for everybody.
Times are hard. And I want it to be accessible for everybody, but I also have to make a living. So it's tricky. It's very, very... I had a lot of the clothes swap, for example. Somebody said that, 25 quid's a lot for a clothes swap. I'm like, you will go home with a black sack full of new clothes. Like, I promise you. It's like you will never get that many clothes for 25 quid. Plus, you get 2 free cocktails. Like, it's a really cheap night out. It's such an amazing experience. The clothes swap is so incredibly fun. It just encourages women to be brave and like try new things, because you've paid 25 quid for the ticket, but then when you come, all the clothes are free. And you've got this pick of all these clothes. You can take as many as you like. I do incredible. It's super fun. But because it's sort of free, and you've got a room full of women going, fuck yeah, you look great. Yes, you can get away with that. Yes, you can do that. And so it's so freeing, because it gives you a chance.
And I think also seeing other people looking at things is like, oh, well, if they can wear that, I can wear that. Like, why not? Yeah.
And like, because you haven't, I would never spend 60 quid on this, but I'll try it because it's free. And you're like, oh, actually, it looks great. And so it's really, really, really magic. Like Lewland was born out of what I call clothes swap magic, of people going, oh, look at that. I look brilliant in this. I would never have tried this. That was like the root of everything I do. It was like trying to try something new, see how it feels. It will lead on to other things. So, but trying to convince people to come to clothes swaps is always quite tricky, because women get in their own way at the best of times. And then they're like, no one wants my leftover, no one wants my unwanted clothes. Will anybody be my size? Who's going to be there? Like, what am I going to get for my 25 quid? I haven't got time to clear out my wardrobe, blah, blah, blah. There's always reasons not to come. So I don't know. I hope people will come because it's such a fun experience.
I'm sure they will, and especially it's such a good idea for all of us that have perhaps done it well, exactly, and us that have done impulse buys and potentially haven't sent it back in time. There's a lot of that going on in my community, myself included.
The amount, I would say, out of, often there's, I would say, upwards of 1,000 items at a clothes swap that we swap. I would say a third have the label still on them, have the tags still hanging in them. It's just that we've ordered drunk, impulsive, we've lost, we've ordered the wrong size, we don't like it. We've forgotten to send it back, we haven't had time,
didn't go to the thing we bought it for.
It is wild. It's wild. But everybody always, I've never known, and people come with really different mentalities. Some come and grab as much as they can. Some people just see one thing and that's all they want, and they just need to hold on that.
So we are going to be at Bristol. Anybody in Bristol who listens to this knows that I always say West is best. I love Bristol. Hard. Well, I'll be at Dartington, and then Steph and I will both be at Norwich, and we will be there on the Friday night shows with the Emporium. Stephanie, talk about our Stall of Dreams. Tell the people what we're doing.
So we're just going to have all of our fabulous makers and our jewellery and accessories, all made by neurodivergent small businesses and makers. We've got some beautiful, we've just launched loads of beautiful beauty products. I'm probably going to bring some of them as well. So it's a dopamine fest of brilliant.
And on top of all of that, not only are you supporting neurodivergent makers and small businesses, we're a neurodivergent business ourselves, Steph and I, but 10% of all of our profits at the end of the year go to ADHD AF plus charities. So it kind of works across the board, because you're not only buying products from double neurodivergent businesses, you're also then literally funding the community support groups of the charity. So when we're at these events, we have some information about the charity, so that anybody who is there, you might like to start your own ADHD AF plus support group. We've had Aberdeen and Edinburgh, so they will be monthly groups in each place, once a month, with a view to potentially expanding to more things, workshops, etc. down the line. But to begin with, it's one a month as peer support groups by volunteer facilitators local to the area. And by next month, we will also have London, Manchester and Birmingham.
Amazing.
And we're in the process of sorting out Cardiff. So it really is, we are a charity in Scotland, England and Wales. So it can go far and wide. So I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to be able to tell people about that at your events as well. So there'll be information there. If people want to start one, that would be amazing.
We you attract your people, right? That's what we shall do. And the other bigger festivals, you've got to come to those as well. You're going to come to some of those.
I know. Do you know, this is the thing. So it's always really, really tricky. So Steph's a mum of two. I don't drive. Because I'm too dyspraxic. So we've got a couple of logistics to iron out. So it's never easy. But as you pointed out, Lou, we are nothing if not resilient, right?
We're resilient, but come with me. Come with me.
Thank you.
You weirdo.
Yeah.
Just come with me.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is, I'm literally moving into this flat 1st of May. And then I think with my feet on the ground a bit more is when we can look at it more. I definitely couldn't. Wild horses couldn't keep me away from your camp.
Yes.
And anything else in between that we can make work, we would love to make work.
Well, my camp is in Bedford, and you must come and do that. Yeah, my camp's in Bedford. You must come and do run a workshop or something for that, and then have the stall, and then just come.
When's that one?
That one's in August.
Oh, I'm getting confused. Yeah. Why did I think it was in Wales?
No, there's another one in Wales.
That's a retreat.
Yeah, that's the Camp VC. That's the biker gangs. Yeah. Oh my God, that's brilliant. I am so excited for that. That bunch of women and non-binary folk are the baddest baddies that I have ever come across.
And that is a title and a half. That even rivals the Minister of Masturbation.
They are hardcore cool, like just brilliant. That's going to be. I'm very excited for that. And then I've got a stint at the Edinburgh Festival.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that because I would really like to come along and support you with that.
So we can talk about doing something out of the bus, because I've got the bus in Edinburgh too. Going to be performing my show in the Edinburgh Museum.
Yes.
And then I got free reign with the bus to do whatever I want. So we need
Bingo it is.
Bingo it is. So we're gonna have a busy year, love. Busy year.
Really? Do you know, it's such a funny thing because I just want to do all the things, but what I've noticed is, going back to being a griefy, miserable cow again, is that, you know, I've looked at the list of dates that you've given me umpteen times, and I just can't properly process the information. Like, I can't get it right in my head.
Now, love.
And so it's like, I can't do it. I don't understand what I'm meant to be doing or where. So just one step at a time.
But those dates in your diary, I will pick you up, and then you turn up with it. And then you turn up and do something.
The Angela Lansbury calendar.
There you go.
Thank you. Hang on. Have you got 2 pictures and a calendar?
No, one of the pictures is the calendar.
Okay.
Made by the lovely Tom Cofield. We'll get a little. I've got pictures of Angela Lansbury by him in every room of my house. That's my personal favourite, because it also has my love in it, Tom Selleck.
Selleck
is
for
he
the
in his
win.
shorts? You haven't got a home, darling. You're so discombobulated right now. Your mother bloody died, and and you have no home. Everything is like this, shifting about. All right, so just
step by step,
literally day by day, and hour by hour.
Basically, where can people find out all of the information that I can't process about everything that you're doing?
The Angela Lansbury calendar.
On my bio is a link tree, and there's links to all the events on there. Also,
Wonderful.
You've just reminded me, it might help if I put it on my actual website also.
Details.
What was that most ADHD AF thing you've done this week? Is actually forget to put all your events on your actual website. Oh my God, I'm literally a marketing genius. Dartington, Devon is 25th, 26th and 27th of April. Bristol is the 9th, 10th and 11th of May. And then Norfolk is the 6th, 7th and 8th of June. And that's going to be in Norwich, in the place that you got married in, which is a complete coincidence. Isn't that wild?
Hang on. This is how backward I am. Is Norwich in June? It's not in May?
No, Norwich is in June.
June.
Okay, right. Well, there we go. No, I did know that, really.
You concentrate on moving house, and Steph will tell you where to be.
But the Flint Room is a very magical place. So Big and I got married at the Flint Room in Norwich, and it is actually directly opposite where Steph and I went to school. So we used to see that church every day at school. It's run by the most wonderful people. Trish and Leslie are just legendary. The place is like Alice in Wonderland's leopard print dream. We did the Too Much tour there, and now we're going to come and join you there. So it's a very, very special place for me. So I'm very excited to be part of that event.
Very, very
good
excited.
Old Norwich. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy about the bus, Leo. I'm so happy for you. It's amazing. Do you have any final words of wisdom, any parting words, anything you would like to say as the Minister of Masturbation and Queen of Female Empowerment? What would you like to tell your, what does it call it? Tell the congregation.
I'd like to tell the congregation to buy tickets to my show. Have a fucking great weekend. Have a great weekend. Carpe the damn diem. And I will see you on the road somewhere around the country. We'll get there.
We get there, and we get there together. I love it so much. So there you go. That's one of the most chaotic episodes I've ever put out. It's only right that I end on the most ADHD thing. As explored in the episode that I dedicated to Mum, grief exacerbates ADHD symptoms. So as you've heard, I can't keep track of any dates. I think that venues are in different cities, in different months. You know, it really is quite a lot. And truth be told, the most ADHD, griefy AF thing of this week is that the episode was actually recorded last Friday. And this episode was meant to be released on Wednesday. But unfortunately, midweek, the grief hit me
like a giant neon pink and green leopard print bus and knocked me down. And I basically couldn't get out of bed for 2 days. So I came back round sort of sometime yesterday evening, and today's a better day. And it's just going to have to be like that. And it's just going to have to be me taking it a step at a time and a day at a time and an hour at a time. And I'm so grateful to Lou for once again empowering me in my darkest hour, and to Steph for just sticking on and doing so much work when I've been a griefy mess. If you are grieving, you are not alone. And thank you for joining me on another chapter of this absolutely ridiculous safari. And just enormous thanks to the Leopard Print Army for all of their support behind the scenes, the Board of Trustees of ADHD AF Plus Charity, and now a group of facilitators that are growing and supporting and coming up with ideas for the charity and facilitating these incredible groups. So coming up next month for ADHDF Plus Charity, we have peer support groups in Aberdeen, Edinburgh, East London, Manchester and Birmingham. And there's Cardiff, Oxfordshire, Cambridgeshire, all waiting in the wings. We're working hard behind the scenes on all of those. And for all information about ADHDAF Plus charity, and if you would like to donate or volunteer, we would be so incredibly grateful. You can head to adhdafplus.org.uk. And if you are a podcast fan and you would like to connect online to support this podcast, so a separate entity to the charity, then come and join us in the Patreon community. The link is in the show notes, where you will also find a link to ADHDF Emporium and to Lou's incredible magical mystery tour on her wonderful leopard print bus, which I cannot wait to ride in with her and be at some of those incredible events. So if you are heading to the Self Love Unleashed one woman show out of the 3-day extravaganzas in those cities, I will see you there. Like I said, this episode didn't go out when I wanted it to. It's not as polished as it could be, and it's very chaotic. And I'm recording this last bit again in my pajamas. But the too muchness, the cackling, the loudness, the enthusiasm, the not being able to keep track of any date is how ADHD presents in me. And that is what I've always shown on this platform. And this is what grief and ADHD looks like in me. Thank you for listening, and please be kind to yourself. So yeah, and as Lou said, CARPE the damn DIEM. Let's have it.